Scanning. Identity authorized. Welcome to the Secret Superhero Club Podcast Network.
All right, everybody, I have a special guest with me today. I have Dennis Du. He is the writer and director for the new film. It is Funan, and I am very honored to have seen this film. First off, Dennis, can you tell everybody a little bit about yourself first off?
About what? Sorry.
About yourself.
Yeah, so I'm Dennis Du. You have already introduced me. I'm a French filmmaker. I'm here in Los Angeles today, this last day, by the way, to introduce my first feature film called Funan.
So, what made you want to tell this story?
I want to tell this story first. This story is based on my mother and her separation with my big brother during the Khmer Rouge regime in Cambodia. Okay. I wanted to tell this story because it's quite personal. Mm-hmm. It's the results of decades of testimonies exchanged with my mom, and in some way it has built my life. And as I was very touched all along by all those testimonies, sounds like it was a necessity for me to transmit it. At the beginning, I thought about novels or comics books, but as I love to draw, life brings me to animation. So that animation becomes very natural for me to express all the story.
So I know you said that this is personal with your mother and your older brother. What all research and everything did you have to do for this film?
A lot of stuff, tons of things. Since I decided to make this film, I just asked my mom to tell me again about her life, her experience, and in the best according to the chronology. But it was more or less hard because many decades passed already. So we needed to come back to Cambodia first. Only me and my mom. We retrace as best as we can her path, trying also to meet some old friends, but most of them, unfortunately, had passed away. But we reached one of her old friends, and we spent one beautiful afternoon with them, rebuilding all the stories. It was really filled with a lot of emotion. People released their tears, starts to laugh about the past also. And I discovered that my mom keeps a kind of shell around her in order to protect herself. She was not really. She didn't expect to cry or anything. So I think in some way that there are still some stuff she never shared to me about her life before.
If you don't mind me asking, I know this is probably going to be personal, but what did she think of the film?
It's not really personal because I answer these questions to everyone. She loves the film, but unfortunately she doesn't speak French and she doesn't understand French as the film is only in French version now. She's completely moved by the ambience and the music. She feel Cambodia of before. She feel the emotion of the film, of course. And the most touching things I've seen from her is that she was able to recognize most of the characters at the beginning of the film. And it proves me that in some way we reached the point because many characters were created without any pictures. And also maybe this part is much more personal, but she was angry every moment she see the Khmer Rouge on the screen. Angry, and she started to shout, to yell, sometimes also to insult. But I guess it was because we were together, so she won't do such things. I mean, with other people.
I was going to ask you, that was going to be one of my follow-up questions was, um, did you base any, like, how did you base the characters? Like, were they based off of family members, or what were some of the character designs based off of? But yeah, you pretty much answered that question. How hard was it to try to create these characters off of something like you said, they didn't you didn't have any pictures, and you're just trying to recreate these characters just off of um, memories.
Memories and testimonies. Yeah, it's we create them also by looking at not only family pictures but other family pictures. In order to reach the good designs of the clothes, of the appearance, and the way they look are also inspired by the way they were described by my mom. And well, it was built like that. Everything was created like that.
Now, kind of like jumping ship a little bit to the animation here. What made you decide that you wanted to do the CG animation as opposed to something like more of like a 2D art style?
I choose 2D because I'm not very I'm not very fluent with the CG animation, and also I believe that drawing animation, even if we use computer, in some way it's also CG. But the fact that we can draw, we can keep some kind of a direct relation with the picture, because we are creating it directly on the screen. There is a kind of skinny relation. I don't know if it's the right words, and a kind also of craftsmanship, because we don't need a huge team. Even if we were split in 6 studios, each studio had just a small team. So this film was made in some craftsmanship way, and 2D animations allows it perfectly. And well, I also love the way we can completely recreate everything through drawings. It's a it's a long process, and you can really, for me especially, I wanted to reappropriate myself the environment, the backgrounds, and of course the characters.
Excuse me. Were there any like wow, let me start that over. So how long have you been planning have been planning to create this film?
Well, we spent 7 years of development. 7 years of development, trying to find funds, almost 2 years of production. And what I like to say is that all the result is also the film is also the result of more than 20 years of testimonies.
Mm-hmm. And I will say this film, I tried not to read anything going into it. We got the pressers and everything from AIF. I tried to do like a brief little a skim, and when I saw Khmer Rouge, and I was like, oh, okay, like the history person in me knew what was going on during that period, so I had a feeling where we were gonna go with this. But now that you've mentioned that there's such a personal connection to this film, I need to go back and see it again, with this personal connection, because it was very touching. And during this film, the mother's sacrifice and everything that she went to get her son back, and the family in general. But now that knowing that it is based, off of your mother and brother's experiences, it's I don't even know how to describe it. I'm just gonna say I was very touched. So I mean, I thank you from the bottom of my heart. I mean, for making this movie, because it's very well done. and I feel honored to have watched it.
Thank you very much. I really appreciate. Thank you.
One last question for you. What do you want the audiences to see this film? What do you want them to take away from this?
Many things. First of all, I want them, and I already reached these goals because I received some feedbacks already. I expected some people of the audience to reconnect themselves with their own past, not only Cambodians, because I think the film is enough universal, and the feedbacks I received proves me that I'm right. I received some feedbacks from Taiwanese audience. There was a lady. She told me, she shared me her personal family stories after the film. She felt the courage. She has the courage, enough courage to share it with me just after the screening. Also, some people from the French audience who has not especially some things related to Cambodian roots. And yeah, this goal is more or less reached on, and I'm really happy for that. The second point is that this is not such common for animation film to explore such a subject. And by the way, I really appreciate the name, the title of the festival, Animation is Film. It should remind people that animation is not some things under a live action film, but at the same level. So animation is film, and I really expect people to consider animation not just like a genre, but just only a technique. And there is so many. It's diversified. I mean, in animation we have comedy, we have drama, and to appreciate animation, and especially when animation is able to explore new horizons.
Exactly. That was
Hello?
very, very, very well said.
Thank you.
All right, Dennis, again, thank you so much for coming on and talking with us. I
You're
really
welcome.
appreciate it.
Thank you very much. Me too. Thank you very much.
Have a great afternoon.